Hello everyone. Welcome back to MRL Action. My name is Stryfium and I am here from Canada joining you for the Tier 1 racing. It is the Japanese Grand Prix. My good friend Mr. George Unicorn Hitchin will be with us momentarily at the start of the race, so it will be myself through to take you into qualifying. Now, with that, I'm extremely excited for this race. We have had some amazing, absolutely thrilling races here in Japan, in Suzuka, of course, for 18 turns around the figure 8 circuit. Tier 2 was something to see, and so was the Americas Tier 1 division. We have had some absolutely amazing races here around Suzuka, and well, it is a very historical circuit in Formula 1, enriched with many historical exchanges, very iconic moments and legendary scenes in Formula 1. Now, with that, next week we go to another very history-enriched circuit. We go to Silverstone, following that Baku, Hungary, Singapore, and then we have another break moving into France, Spain, Austria, Mexico, and then the finale in Brazil. It's going to be a very good time in Brazil, I imagine. A lot of these racers enjoy it. And with that, let's take a look at who is racing with us on this grid today. It is the Tier 1 standings. Shenji, 75 points for the AlphaTauri. Brainstew, the Italian, tied with Candy King. 51 points between the pair for that second slot. Brownie, 43 points in 4th position. We have Eruption there, 5th, to round out the top 5. AlphaTauri, Alfa Romeo, and Red Bull in that order, same as the drivers for your Constructors' Championship. And with that, we are just about ready to jump into 18 minutes of qualifying. There is some great battles unfolding here. You can see Ben and Freeware, they're tied with 10 points. Everybody extremely tight as we move through, and now we are going to jump into Suzuka. It's going to be a very tight group of racers here in the Tier 1 division. Absolutely cannot wait for this 18 minutes, and even more importantly, we've had a lot of rain this week in qualifying. We've had some good rain sessions in the races as well. I wonder if we are going to get that roll of the dice here for this Tier 1 division. I imagine a lot of these racers not wanting the rain, as that is usually the case, but you never know what may unfold here as we come into Japanese Suzuka International Racing Circuit. Of course, if you're just tuning in, welcome. It's going to be a great campaign of racing. Round 6 of the Season 5 racing for this Tier 1 division. And now, there we have it, our first look at how things are looking in the skies, and our first look at who is racing with us on the grid. 18 minutes counting down, starting now. A little bit of cloud in the skies, but no rain on the horizon as far as the eye can tell. Taking you through the lineup today, in the Ferrari, we have S2000 joining us on the grid today, with Mark in the Alpine. In the Aston Martin, we have Yar. Right behind him on the timing tower. In the McLaren, we have Brownie. Following that, Jayak in the Alfa Romeo. Vertex is here in the Williams, which is great to see. Larson also here with us in the Alpine tonight. Eruption for Mercedes. It's Ben. In the partnering Ferrari, we have Freeware for AlphaTauri. Matteo Longe in one of the Haas, as he is taking over for Mr. Remco Van Putten. Shout out to Remco if he's with us viewing. Stepping down, not too much time to play F1 at the moment, and we'll miss him dearly as Magnetar F1, one of the drivers Remco's done a good chunk of racing against, is here with us in the McLaren. Of course, Jonathan Shen, our division leader. In the AlphaTauri 13th, we have Vexit on the grid today. Juan Lu, Bestmate, Avi, Dimitriou, Brainstew, and Candy King for the Tier 1 grid tonight. Brownie coming into the hairpin. We've seen a good number of position exchanging going on through the hairpin. A lot of drivers liking that inside, trying to fish that toe in, get a line, get an overtake. We've also seen it done around the outside this week, coming out of that hairpin. And we flow through Spoon. We've seen a couple of wheel-to-wheel exchanges through here as well. We'll have to see what this Tier 1 grid really has for us as he exits out of Spoon now in the run-up to 130R. This will be our 6th race of the week. Brownie now on the soft compound tires coming through the Casio Triangle. He will be the first driver to give us a lap of the racing circuit as he crosses the line. DRS wide open on the rear wing, firing things straight down into a sweeping right-hander that is turn 1. Flowing through into this iconic S's section. Exit pulled off to the inside. Just dancing on the throttle here. Flowing as nicely as he can on this first run. Coming up through Dunlop, which is a very touch and go corner when you are flat out on exit, as we've seen multiple drivers suffer issues. And as he comes through the first Degner, he has unfortunately invalidated this run. Best mate flying on the rear. The Mercedes could very well be now the first driver to set a time. Five-place grid penalty for a collision with Matteo Longe. No wing on that Haas right now. No wing on the Ferrari either. There goes best mate at 28.510 to open things up here in Japan. Jonathan Shen at 28.227 will jump him immediately. Exit has begun. Verdex has pushed through a 28.366. He moves into the front row provisionally ahead of best mate. Brains to beginning in the Alfa Romeo. We'll look to see who is coming through next. Dimitriou on an invalidated run. Freeware. The other AlphaTauri, where can he stand things compared to his teammate? Looks like he's just beginning. 45.305, his first time onto the board, but surely considering his battery right now, he is just starting as Eruption moves through into join his teammate with a 28.694 onto the second row for the moment. Juan Liu in the Williams. Nice run there at 28.624. Candy King went 28.522. Important there as the Williams and the Red Bull split the Mercedes. Avi coming through ahead of Freeware. Freeware will be still pushing. Fuel light on at the moment. Could very well see him coming to the pit lane as Vexit, 28.287, jumps into the front row. Magnetar pushing the McLaren right now. Dancing on that throttle through Sector 1, the S's. Neither Alfa Romeo to set a time yet. I was looking for Brainstew or Jayak, and they are both in the pit lane. Larson is on the move. He has just exited the hairpin. Pushing up through into 130R now. The Alpine. Where can he land himself? Almost half the almost. He will be the 10th driver to set a time here. Tight to the inside now, pushing through. Where does it drop him? 10th position on the rear Freeware as Freeware went to 28.791. It was a major improvement for Freeware, but it wasn't enough to push him up into any kind of position gain. Magnetar is on the way into the pit lane, and we have Avi coming through the Casio Triangle right now into the pit lane, as well as that fuel light is on. Freeware is going to be on his way in with low fuel. So nobody actively flying. It will be Matteo Longe in the Haas. He will be the first driver among the drivers on outlaps to give us a representative run. He had a bit of a snap coming through turn 1. Out of the hairpin now. Matteo, previously mentioned, and of course Matteo Longe, one of the 2 Longe brothers, his brother Nicholas, competing for Alpine F1 Esports. They were both representing, I suppose, the family name for different teams in the Champions Division earlier this season before the Champions Division was wrapped up. Purple Sector 2 here for the French driver. Tight through into the Casio, and he was very tight in that inside curb. And here we come to the line now. Is it going to be good enough for pole? No. 4th quickest now at 28.420. S2000 goes 8th quickest. Another driver who I am absolutely delighted to see on the grid today is Mr. Mark, who has recently had a major issue on the technical side with his computer. I'm happy to see and happy to say that he has got that sorted out, and he is back racing with us on the grid today. Brownie coming out of the second Degner, he is flying. One thing to note, we saw the Ferrari of Ben, 35.627. We now have 13 drivers with times. Big toe here coming out of the McLarens, and it's something that we have seen all season long. Magnetar and Brownie with fantastic team dynamics. We've seen it both from Brownie's end with his teammates and Magnetar with his. And now that they have come together, they have really come and been able to put some teamwork down. And, well, there is the result. Brownie, a 28.168, a fantastic run from him. Magnetar will begin behind him some distance in the hopes that maybe his teammate will be able to repay the favor. Best mate appears to be beginning a lap. Jayak, not clear, may have had an issue there to ruin his qualifying, as Dimitriou an issue. Bird XP2 at 28.157. He narrowly jumps Brownie. It was a very good run coming out of him. Taking a look at who else we need to jump on with for a time here. We have the Italian of Brainstew coming through the final chicane. Vexit ahead of him, about to come across the line as well. I think Vexit just began. Yes, he did. Magnetar, 27.960. He is one of 2 drivers into the 127s. He is a precise 10th off of Genjay. Best mate flying with improvement into the Casio Triangle. Solid improvement, 2-2-3 there, putting him into 8th position. Freeware is on the move with an invalidated run. Larsen pushing into Spoon. Looking to improve a 28.884. Into the pit lane for the Alpine. Candy King into the pit lane as well. Megxit pushing hard here. Is this pole? Yes, it is. 27.741 coming out of the Haas camp. Where will Mateo land himself if he gets a chance to qualify again? There's not too much time left in session at the moment, but a solid run coming out of the Haas in Megxit, to say the least, pushing himself into the 7s. Not too much action on grid right now. Mark is flying. Ooh. A little bit much on the curb there. Fortunately keeping the valid lap. However, you can see that he is struggling. Ooh, big wide run out there for Mark. S2000 coming into the hairpin. Dropping the lap. Priming things. He may very well not have been on a lap considering his battery now. I'm getting a better look at that, and he could just be gearing up to go on the lowest fuel load possible. Definitely looks like it. So here we go. We are going to jump ahead though with Brownie. Ben as well. The other Ferrari is flying a 35.627. We know he's got more in him. Coming into the final Casio Triangle now, and this should be a very important lap. 28.9 coming out of bend there. He'll be happy to get that run through. Ooh. Big snap there for the Ferrari. Avi pushing in the Aston Martin. Exit catches the checkered flag. No improvement will come from him. This is not good. Jonathan Shen will not be able to improve. Magnetar might have something here as there's Brownie. This is very dangerous for Vexit. Very dangerous. This is going to be a very big tow coming into the Casio Triangle now. He gets the car broken down. A very clean flow through the final 3 turns. Right to the inside now. There it is. A 27.687 ahead of Vexit. Shenjay will not be improving. Vertex. He is now coming through the final chicane. He will not improve. Best mate, no improvement coming from him. Candy King. Good improvement to 6th position for the Red Bull. Jayak will not be improving. He is going to bring it to the line. S2000, 28.531 from him. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, your qualifying session here for Tier 1, Round 6, Suzuka Racing Action. All right. So, once again, to take you through our classification heading into this race, it is Magnetar F1 in the McLaren, 27.687 from him for pole position today in Tier 1. We have Vexit, 27.741, just shy of a 10th off of the McLaren. And we have Jonathan Shen, our championship leader in the AlphaTauri, finishing 3rd in this qualifying. Eruption 4th. We have Avi rounding out our top 5. What a grid lineup we have here. Ben has taken a 10 position grid penalty. Not sure as to why, but that is not what you want to be doing in any case in a race at all. So very unfortunate stuff there from him, and we'll have to see how things translate from that to the race. Welcome to Japan. 18 turns once again, a figure 8 configured circuit, and there, ladies and gentlemen, is the forecasted wet weather. However, there will not be any intermediate or wet tires on these cars. I can tell you that as a fact, because in the right hand side, in the corner of my eye, there is going to be slick tires on these cars, which is a replication. If you saw Tier 1 Americas of that race, these guys are in for a very wild ride. Tell your friends, tell your family, Tier 1 Racing Action is on. It is about to go down, and with that, I cannot wait to get into this formation and take you through the grid. Alrighty, welcome to Formation Lap here in Japan. Magnetar F1, a big drift, and that is how turn one is on these tires. And if that isn't any indication of how this race might just unfold at the start, I don't know what is. Intermediate conditions, potentially. Dry tires. We have wet weather. Dry tires. I love these situations. I truly do, because every single driver on this grid is on softs except Ben. And I don't believe this is good. I cannot say this is a good idea. But I am not his engineer today. Alrighty, now we're here at the grid. All drivers assuming their positions. Magnetar will be in the middle of the field, however, he will be starting from pole position. Exit Shenjay second and third. Eruption fourth. Avi in fifth. We have Candy King starting sixth. Vertex in seventh. Brownie in eighth. Mateo in ninth. Bestmate and Mark 10 and 11. We have Jayak and Larsen. S2000 on the grid in 14th position. Juan Liu with us 15th for Williams. Freeware, Brainstew, Yar, Dimitriou, and now Ben taking final position on the grid. 20 drivers here in Suzuka. I cannot wait for this race. Welcome to Japan. Engines are revving, lights are on. 4, 5 red lights. Things have gone dark, and we are away racing. Eruption with a magnificent eruption off the line. Looking at the inside of exit, nothing doing just yet, but Magnetar has come undone. Avi right there with Candy King. Vertex, everyone wheel to wheel. Ben, Yar coming together. A severe collision between the pair. Both Ferraris are out of this race. The full safety car has been deployed, and I do not know what happened between the two Ferraris, but there is a significant amount of cars going slow here. That has been a very, very interesting race start, to say the least. Position changes. You can see Magnetar. He dropped 3 positions. Shenjay held station in third, while Vexit and Eruption both moved up a couple slots. Well, at the very least, Vexit moved into lead of this race. And the two Ferraris moved themselves right out of it. Very interesting situation there. Safety car, nobody coming in. The only driver to start on the medium compound tires, unfortunately, is out of this race. Brownie is into the pit lane, and this is a medium swap. Yar is moving in, Freeware is moving in. Yar has taken 5. Yar took 5 to serve 5. Okay. and an inner switch. I don't believe that's a good idea. We don't even have any idea if we have DRS just yet in this race, but I am not the strategist. I am just the commentator this evening. Then again, I did watch a race on Tuesday evening with near same conditions that went quite well. Wow. It went interesting. Yeah, I can see Eruption here with a little bit of an issue. Not sure if he is in or out of the session right now. On the rear of Vexit and in front of Shenjay. It was an explosive start, to say the least. Up at the front end of the grid, there was a very, very intense wheel-to-wheel exchange through the midfield, and then we saw a very unfortunate situation unfold at the rear end where Ben and now his teammate S2000 were both collected and have retired the cars. Looking like we will be back to green flag racing on lap 4. Jayak will need to catch up with the grid, but he should have no issue to do that. What a race start. That is not... I expected there to be some issues and some problematic scenarios, but I most definitely did not expect that. And I suppose that's just how it goes. That Aston Martin feeling things a little... Oof, you can see Vertex. A little bit of a drift in the Williams. Yar getting back onto the softs. Jayak opting not to do this. Well, there's 4 racers that have held station in their positions. Jonathan Shen in 3rd, Vertex in 7th, Freeware in 16th, and Yar in 18th position here. Majority of the grid gaining position, as we have Magnetar down 3, Avi down 1, Bestmate down 3, Brownie has moved down 6. We also notably saw him switch over to the medium compound tire. The Jayak down 5 as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Green Flag Racing momentarily, as it will be the safety car on the way in. Vexit is now going to assume control of the grid. We've seen a number of different restart styles this week. However, with these conditions, we'll have to see what Vexit opts to do. Is it hammer down straight out of the chicane, or is it hammer down right at the line? We'll have to see, as everyone wants to get temperature into their tires. He is away now as Eruption looks to get a good launch off the restart. Shenjay has a better one. Candy King has an even better one than that. Fronts to rears between him and the McLaren. Shenjay doesn't have anything with Eruption. Back to Candy King on the inside now of Magnetar as we come through turn 1. Avi with the front row seat. On the rear, Brownie and Brain Stew exchange, as the softs are going to be able to do a lot more than the mediums right now. Magnetar holding Candy King. Oh, there's a slight tap. Who was that? Mateo. Not sure if it was Mateo or Vertex that moved through there. Shenjay, Eruption. There's something going on between that pair, as there's Eruption with a bit of desync. Dimitriou has been collected in some kind of incident. The Red Bull is out of this race in Sector 1. Brain Stew, the Italian on the rear of Bestmate. looking for position as Shenjay. Vexit's gone deep through the hairpin. Shenjay moves through on the inside. Magnetar is there looking at the rear of Vexit. Eruption has dropped all the way down this field as he was looking the other way with a 180 in the hairpin. I am not sure what happened to him, but this race has really been blown wide open. Very wide run there for Mateo. Verdex. Tight with Candy King. What a move this is. Verdex to Williams getting it done. Candy King under threat from the Alpine. No, Mark's out of this race, ladies and gentlemen. That's a huge crash for the Alpine. He's gone into the pit median. No. Mark on his return in the Alpine. That is not how he wanted to have it go at all. Lap 5 out of 27. We are back to safety car conditions. No. Brownie's in. Onto the softs. Jayak onto the mediums in front of him. Well, what a race this has been, to say the least. Alright. Not really sure what the story is with Eruption right now as to whether or not he is leading this race, but Vexit, Magnetar, Verdex, Candy King all coming in here, leaving them out in front. It's a lot of pit stops coming through for mediums. Take a look at the position changes as we're under our second safety car here. Eruption, not entirely sure what's going on with the Mercedes, but we can at the very least say Shenjay has moved up a couple of positions considering he did start the race in third. And we have, well, everybody in the top 7 has moved up. Then you saw a lot of pit stops come through from the rear end of the field. Larsen's moved up 1. So, of course, everyone from 8th down is going to be dropped positions. It's a very interesting stop dynamic now, as only 4 drivers on the grid have yet to come in. That is the top 4. Eruption holding on a 39.270, the fastest lap of the race. this race week with Suzuka. You combine Suzuka, the wet conditions, you combine some of the, quote, elements presenting themselves in the game, end quote. It has been one of the most dynamic race weeks of the MRL ever. Confirmed. And I can say that with pretty good authority on the matter. One recommendation here, we're getting ignoring yellows. Yesterday we had Noel Carlman desynced in a race. We had him leave, rejoin, and it fixed the problem for the individual driver. Back to green flag racing, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Exit. Yar. Wheel to wheel as we come into turn one. It is going to be fresh mediums for Vexit. Getting a nice move through into fifth position. Larson and Mateo exchange. Best mate. Fourth position right now. Brain Stew wants to take third. Ooh, this is a decent exit, but he has a snap on the slick pot. Oh, man. Look at this. Ooh, up the inside now for Brain Stew. Not clear there as to whether or not he tapped him coming into that hairpin. Bit of a bump and go maybe. Not clear, but I will tell you this. Magnetar, Verdex. There goes Verdex deep through Spoon. Magnetar 7th picks that up with ease. Candy King looking on for it as well. Verdex slips on the exit. Bye-bye, says the Red Bull. And that's a clear-cut move now for Candy King. Into 8th position. Mateo's right here on the inside of 130R. Verdex is struggling. Where's Larson? He can see this as well. Verdex dropping like an absolute stone, and I am not sure why that has happened. Candy King, Mateo, they've exchanged. Brain Stew, he's gone round Verdex. Verdex has retired the car. That's in the pit lane. Eruption back in session now. We do have a large yellow on circuit. Best mate Vexit tight through into the hairpin. The timing tower has removed the times for a moment until we cross the line, as we've had a driver rejoin their car. That is why that happens. It's been like this since the start of 2020. No, I said 2020, not 2021. Ooh, Matteo there around the outside into the inside of the Casio triangle now on Magnetar. He's going to have to look back through, but there's nothing doing. Matteo moving mountains right now in that Haas. The timing is going to update as Candy King is here looking at the McLaren as well. Battery in full utilization within a tenth. He is narrowing, looking at that inside. A little battle here as Candy King with the penalty. 10 seconds for the Red Bull. Looking for position. Magnetar goes off. He's slid. No visible damage right now on the McLaren, but many positions lost for him as Brain Stew is dropping through the field. Front left wing damage. His teammate pushes through, and Brownie does as well. Brownie looking for Jayak. We're coming into the hairpin. Brownie slotting things neatly in on the inside. Jayak closing things off a little bit tight. Unclear as to whether or not there was enough space along the inside there for Brownie to move, but it's tight racing, slick conditions. There has been a yellow flag. That was Yar, I believe, on exit of the hairpin. There's been another issue. I think that might have been freeware as there's yellows all over. There is a VSC deployed. And I'm not sure why. Not clear as to how the VSC came to be. No visible damage on Freeware's car. I think we're going to be going back to green in a very short moment here. Yar retiring that car in the pit lane. DRS has been enabled. Jayak slides coming out of the hairpin. Brownie's there to pick up the pieces, and he does. 8th position now for the German driver. Freeware not having the race he wanted at all in that AlphaTauri, to say the least. Sector 1 yellow, that is, I believe it may have been Wanlu. At what point, I wonder, do we see these softs come in for Jonathan Shen and Wanlu? I think it's going to be very soon. Avi under threat here. I think it's a very clear threat as well from Brownie on these softs. Of course, if you're enjoying the stream, let me know in the chat. Say hello. We're on lap 13 out of 27. If you're enjoying the race, that's what we want to hear. Brownie, DRS, of course, in this train on the rear of Candy King, Larson, Avi, everybody in close formation. Brownie with the best tires at the moment, potentially. You can see some good speed being carried through turn 1. The rain has not let up. It has been a steady drizzle throughout the entire campaign thus far. Clouds do not seem to be shifting. The rain does not seem to be fading, and the drivers seem to be persisting in their fight for points as Brownie, bit of a snap there, trying to keep with Avi. Avi on Larson. Larson has now dropped outside of 1 second. You can see Larson struggling a little bit here through Spoon. And if he's struggling, Avi could have an opportunity, but he needs to be careful about taking it with Brownie right there. All right, now there has been a retirement. That's coming outside of Spoon Curve. Freeware. I'm not sure what happened to Freeware there, but Freeware had a big issue. Eruption is out of this race. And that is now another safety car in Suzuka for this Tier 1 division, now on lap 13 of 27. Freeware, the AlphaTauri that that just keeps going. Of course, there was a big advisement to all of the racers this week about the current situations that have struck in the game regarding desync, lobby bugs, and more. Excuse me for one moment while I fix something here, as there is a touch of an issue with the stream, it would seem. Bit of a stutter I hadn't noticed before. Big shuffle into the pit lane now. Vexit says, I'm going to stay out. And, well, that's crazy call from him. Vexit, Denjay, your top two. Yeah, I think that's a big mistake. A lot of penalties right now for Mateo. Candy King 10 seconds to the pair of them. Jayak 5 seconds in 11th. Apologies for the quietness of the commentary today. As I say that, superfan coming in, he mentions it. But of course, given the conditions that we're facing in this race, the issues that we have faced in this race, we're just playing it by ear here. We're keeping things as light as we possibly can. But it seems as though we can always start race weeks off fantastic through Tier 4 with lobbies. And then things, unfortunately, by Tier 1 get to be a little bit, for lack of a better word, wonky. A little bit wonky. Following the Aston Martin safety car. Thank God we got the Aston Martin safety car in the game, by the way, at the risk of lobby stability. Absolutely thrilled about it. I think it looks great. Portimao, absolutely thrilling to drive. In a 5-lapper. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the grid as the safety car is going to be coming in, or at the very least, it very well should be coming in. The safety car is not coming in. At this time, the safety car is still going to be heading around the track once again. It may decide late. We never know. No, we're gonna go again. We are getting the most scenic representation of Suzuka today and this Aston Martin safety car. It has been absolutely a joy. Let me know in the chat if you're enjoying the stream. Of course, my name is Stryfium here from Canada. And this is somewhere in the ballpark of my 500th race or 400th race or something like this. Just kidding. Actually, I haven't counted, but somewhere. And thrilled. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to give a big shout out to all the drivers in these situations, all of the other leagues, all of the organizers, everybody that puts these races together, that helps out in league racing anywhere. Because I would be, I think, lying if I didn't say it has been a bit of an up and down all around. An up and down all around, you know? For everybody given these situations. Safety car is in, and there's been an overtake between Shenjie and Vexit here for lead of things. Right now, Wanlu tight with Brownie inside of turn 1. This could go very, very bad, but it goes all right. Brownie Fourth position for him right now. Fresh softs. He's got a very good opportunity at Mateo and Vegzit, the two Haas drivers on the 11-lap old mediums. Larson on the rear of the Williams. Not too much going on right now as it's Candy King within 2/10 of Avi for that final points paying position. Lap 18 out of 27, we move under the bridge. Does he have an opportunity into this hairpin? No, not close enough. Larson, Magnetar, a little bit of a bump there. Jayak sees things as well. He moves in on the left-hand side of Larson, gets a little bit loose. Larson holding on to 7th position as Jayak wants it. Brainstew's catching things up. Freeware's retired the car coming out of Spoon. That is not what you want to see at all. The AlphaTauri has not had a good day today. There has been nothing but a yellow flag come from that, and well, it will be an issue now for Larson, who has spun coming through the Casio Triangle. Things have really been difficult for these racers today. We're down to 12. Brainstew, Jayak exchange. The gap right now from Brainstew to Magnetar, 1.5. He needs to bring that and close it down. Mateo, Brownie. You can see Brownie wanting to push with everything he's got. He wants to get on the power. That's a big snap for Brownie. He's drifting it through the gravel and the grass, and he gets it under control. But at what cost for the McLaren? That is not how he wanted to wrap things out of that hairpin, to say the least. Very fortunate to save that. Brainstew looking for Brownie. He got the fronts to the rears, but he didn't get enough of a foot in to do anything with this McLaren, especially in these conditions. He's trying to find the power, and he can't get the grip. Magnetar, Brownie, the McLarens, we've seen the team dynamics between them in the qualifying. Maybe we'll see the team dynamics come to pay off some kind of position for Brownie or Magnetar, whoever has the opportunity to hunt down Wanlu, and by extension the Haas drivers in front. There's been an issue for the AlphaTauri of Jonathan Shenez. That is Vegzit into lead of the race in front of the AlphaTauri. Vegzit holding off to the inside line now as we come into the Casio Triangle. Not sure what happened to Shenjay. Could have been an issue through Spoon. But you can see Vegzit pulling away. DRS for Shenjay, though. 21 out of 27. Vexit, Shenjay, Mateo, your top three. Mateo, 10 seconds in penalties for him. 10 seconds for Jayak as well. Candy King had 10, I do believe, but dropped it to 5 after a recent pit stop. He's got 2 all day. Mateo now, the next task to put Shenjay under threat. Mateo finding a lot of pace coming through Spoon over Shen right now. You can see the gap from Shenjay to Vexit, 2.3 seconds. No visible damage on this AlphaTauri right now. A significant train, however, forming. Even more so on Shenjay here. Here goes Mateo now to the inside. There's just no answer. There's just nothing right now Shenjay can do. Brownie moves through. Brownie moves through into 6th or 5th position, excuse me. Brain Stew. Wanlu. He gets it. That's 3rd position right now for the Williams. No penalties on Wanlu. 6-lap old mediums. Shenjay dropping like a stone through this grid. And we've seen this happen with Shenjay in races before where he just gets into traffic. And when he does, the dominoes just drop for him. Brownie right now, wheel to wheel coming out of the hairpin. Shenjay on the outside as we come through down the hill. Holding 4th right now. Brownie looking for that inside. Tight for the German. The American holding 4th right now. Brownie looking to charge through on the AlphaTauri. Looking at that Honda rear wing. He has Brain Stew, the Italian, hit one of his dear rivals behind him. Fronts to rears now alongside. Shenjay's under threat. Contact between the two. What the heck's happened between those two? There goes Magnetar and Brain Stew ahead of Brownie. Avi's looking for a position as well. Jonathan Shen, say hello to 8th position. Yeah. A little bit of a tap there on the rear of Shenjay. A little bit of contact for the wheels. There goes the Alfa Romeo, and he's into the wall. Oh, Avi on the rear of Brownie. Things really not going well for Brownie in the form of contact at this stage of the race. Lap 23 out of 27. 1.3 now on the rear of Magnetar. He's in 6th position. He was in 4th potentially a moment ago. Candy King on the rear of Jonathan Shen now. Things are very tight for the Red Bull. Softs, of course, as the exit. DRS for him. There's been a yellow flag. That's Bestmate. Bestmate has had a major issue in Spoon. There goes Jonathan. Excuse me, Candy King in front of Jonathan. Big shout out to Sydney. Thank you for the gifted sub to Microlander. Greatly appreciate the support. And another one to Mr. Somebody at 16. Thank you. As Magnetar brains to around the outside. Magnetar's looking for that Italian. Brownie's back in play. Thank you for the sub to Gabox. Greatly appreciate that. And thank you so much, Sydney, for the continued support of the league and community. Brownie, him and his teammate, 5 and 6. Brain Stew under threat here from the McLaren squad. Avi looking for some crumbs when things really start to take off. Well, he might have to just go for it now. DRS for both racers. Avi looking on very tight, looking to that outside. Brownie is going to defend this very neatly. Lars in on the inside of Avi. It's wheel to wheel as we come through Sector 1. There's been contact. That's not good at all for Lars in. He gets things under control, but he comes back on track in front of Avi. And not only that, but he's lost a position for Avi. He's just lost a position for himself. Candy King sweeps on through on the pair of them into 7th. We are on lap 25 out of 27. Very intense racing. A couple of dramatic moments, some incidents in this last stage of the race. Of course, if you're just tuning in and you're enjoying the race, thank you for being here with us this evening. It's MRL Tier 1 Round 6. It has been far from the normal here in the Tier 1 division tonight in Suzuka. The rain has been pouring all race long. Here goes Brownie, his teammate. A smooth exchange between the pair. Thank you to Sydney for the gifted sub to Mark. That is now 4 gifted subs from Sydney today, and thank you very much for that. Brownie gaining time on who I like to call a very long-form rival of the German. Any big Brownie fans will know exactly why Brain Stew and him are the best of rivals. Ladies and gentlemen, we have begun the final run of the evening. It is lap 27 of 27. We are here in Suzuka. It is the 6th round of the 5th season for this Tier 1 division as Candy King and Magnetar have a drag race into turn 1, and it's Candy King, the benefactor there. Exit Mateo running 1-2 for Haas right now. Juan Lu in 3rd. Brains to 4th with a very fast Brownie hunting him down. Brownie having seen multiple setbacks through this stint. All right, Brownie within 1 second. He's the only driver within 1 second right now to do anything about a potential overtake. Exit's just coming out of Spoon. Brownie very wide through Spoon. Not a good exit for him. Brain Stew gaining time. When Brownie gets on the power and the battery, not a lot that Brain Stew's able to do to keep up with that pace, though. We've seen Brownie gain and gain and gain, but it has been all about this man right here today. Vexit has been very consistent, and he will take the checkered flag here in Suzuka. Mateo, his teammate, will cross second on track. However, Juan Lu and Brain Stew will jump him over the line as the penalty comes through to drop him back down this field. Vexit, Juan Lu, Brain Stew, your top three. Brownie in fourth, Magnetar fifth, Avi in sixth, Larsen finishes seventh, Mateo dropping through into eighth, Candy King finishes ninth, and it was Jonathan Shen to cross 10th here as Jayak comes down into 130R, unfortunately without his front wing on the Alfa Romeo. What a race. I imagine a lot of the racers going to be thrilled that they're finally finished with that one. Very, very interesting weather dynamics here today. And apparently, Shenjay was just slammed with a 20-second ignoring yellows penalty. What a race, and what a win from this guy right here. It is going to be, of course, Vexit that we'll hopefully have an interview with in just a moment's time. We have 3 drivers to potentially talk to today. We have the Union Jack of the Brit up there in the top slot. We have the Italian flag in third, and it was, of course, the Spanish flag there up in second for Juan Lu in the Williams. What a race. Juan Lu, 15th to 2nd. Stellar drive. Brain Stew, I imagine, from 17th to 3rd. Did not see that coming from where he started things, given I think everybody had the idea that it was going to be a wet for the wet tires, which is definitely how things went on Tuesday for the Americas Tier 1 division. But man, that was a thrilling campaign, and we are going to get ourselves into interviews in a very quick moment here. Both Ferraris retiring before even turn 1. Alrighty. Take a look at who we can grab for interviews today after that campaign. A quick moment here as I get sorted out. All right. Sorry for the delay. I'm just getting sorted the interviews, and joining me right now for an interview is going to be tonight's second position finisher, at the very least provisionally, Mr. Juan Lu. How you doing? What a race. The weather today, very tough.
Yeah. Was a strange weather, to be honest.
Yeah, really tough race today. Multiple safety cars. Why don't you just give us a summary of your race?
But was very fun, to be honest. Was was like you asked to the engineer to change the tire, but he always said, "Wait, you are a tartar. This is for dry." And you, what the fuck? But very very difficult, to be honest, to control the car.
Yeah, very difficult
Even on the
indeed.
race.
Of course, this being Suzuka, we've had rain all week. Was there any expectation for rain today, or did you come in thinking it would be a dry session?
No, I was coming to thinking that probably will be in thirds or full wet, but hopefully we have quality in dry. But I trolled it in the last 2 laps, but I prefer dry. But to, I when I see the conditions for the race, I was very scared because my setup for for rain is too bad, and I just prefer to take the setup for dry, and hopefully was the right decision, to be honest. Um, I don't know what to say.
Well,
was
next
was
race,
quite fun.
Silverstone. Are you prepared for Silverstone? Is it a track you enjoy more?
Yeah, I enjoy a lot of Silverstone. I hopefully could be in the top 5, maybe. I don't know.
Well, we'll have to
And
see.
yeah, I will prepare.
Well, congratulations, Wanlu, on the second position finish, of course, provisionally, as the stewards will, of course, figure out what happened there at the end with penalties. I think Matteo is looking to maybe get one removed, but a great
Yeah.
race nonetheless in Suzuka today. And any messages for the stream?
Um, Thank you for the support
Thank
of the
you.
people. I don't know.
Thank you, Wanlu, for racing, and thank you for, well, taking the time to interview.
Thank you.
All right, that was Wanlu. Now with me, I do believe we have Brain Stew. Brain Stew, of course, taking the third slot today on the podium provisionally. Brain Stew, how you doing? It was a very tough race, starting in 17th position, multiple safety cars, some of the trickiest conditions we've seen in the division so far. Just talk us through that race.
Yeah, I went for a very aggressive setup in quali, which I I didn't practice at all, and it showed because I qualified P18.
Yeah, definitely some issues there
But
in the qualifying.
the race, so it was.
Yeah, it was a tough race. Coming out of a race like Suzuka, when it's this challenging for everybody, not just yourself, how does that prepare you for a race like Silverstone on such a different circuit?
Well, Silverstone is a track I'm a lot more comfortable at, and at which I've always done well. I'm surely looking forward to it.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how you come through in Silverstone as well. Do you have any messages for the stream before we move on to speak to Vexit?
Well, thank everybody, and see you in Silverstone.
Thank you very much, Brain Stew, and thank you for taking the time to interview. And congratulations on the podium finish. That was Brain Stew, everybody. And of course, now we are going to have our race winner. It is going to be one of the two Hasses. We haven't spoken to Matteo. We might just do. We might not. I'm not entirely sure yet. We'll have to talk to Luke first. Our race winner tonight. Congratulations, Vexit. Luke, Vexit, however you want to go. It was Vexit tonight. It's been Luke before, but it was a race win nonetheless for you, which is something that has been a little bit of a recurring thing for you recently. Or at the very least, the podiums have been coming hard and fast. How are you feeling after a very challenging race today?
You can call me either. I'm not particularly bothered, by the way. But yeah, the race went not quite as smoothly as I'd have intended. But yeah, nice start, and then got a bit unlucky with the safety car timing because Chenje was able to gain, but then he I think lost the rear on the exit of Spoon, and then yeah, that was his race over. So from then it was plain sailing, and yeah, at that point it was a bit comfortable, but obviously still with the very confusing conditions, it was still a bit of a nightmare.
Well, a lot of safety cars, potential desyncs as well. It seems that the Tier 1 division hasn't been able to catch a break as of recently with some of these bugs, but with that coming through now, another win for you, a solid finish. How does this set you up for the home race coming ahead?
Well, hopefully it's going to give me some good momentum. Britain's not been it's not been a bad track for me, but it's not an absolutely special track for me. Even though it's the home track, you'd expect it, but I've never been the quickest around there, if I can get my words out. But yeah, hopefully we can still aim for a good result.
Well, it was definitely a good result for you tonight, and you've had some solid, stellar drives recently. We look to see you continue the form, of course, and potentially join us in a commentary next week as well. But with that, I am going to leave you. I am going to jump in and speak to your teammate, so I'm sure he'll be thrilled with that. But until next week, Luke, thank you for me, and of course, congratulations on the win. Any last words for the stream, or we talk to Matteo?
Not really. Just like what you always think of things to say in this moment, but then you can never think of them.
The
on
words
the
don't
spot.
come.
Yeah.
Well.
I guess I could just give a shout out to Matteo because he drove well, and yeah, I think he can get those 10 seconds removed. So yeah, Haas 1-2. That's pretty damn sweet.
Well, definitely looking forward to seeing how you two are able to carry the momentum into Suzuka. Thank you very much, Luke.
Thank you.
All right. Joining me right now, a provisional podium finisher. It is going to be Mr. Matteo Longe in the Haas. How are you feeling?
Hello.
It's a bit of a bittersweet finish to the race, getting knocked back on penalties, but of course,
Yeah.
very confident that things are going to get sorted by the stewards. How are you feeling about your race today?
It was really tough, especially with the weather. We didn't expect that. I mean, I had a wet setup ready for it, and as you can see, it wasn't really a wet race.
No.
Struggling on traction, especially although there was that little bit under the tunnel where there was a bit of traction because it was dry, which was really comfy to use because that's really an important traction zone. But yeah, overall, good race. I didn't expect from going 9th to 2nd, especially after the quali that Vexit's AI took over and kind of messed up my lap. But yeah, kind of went well for me. And,
your debut
huge
back in the
congrats.
division. So you're back at Haas now after having the Champions Division come to an end. Are you looking forward to the season ahead? Silverstone coming, a potential strong track?
Oh boy, no. Silverstone is one of my worst tracks. I think I'm gonna be nowhere top 10, I think.
Well, it's the home race for your teammate. Maybe you'll just get some
Yeah.
tricks and pointers to help you along.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll teach me some techniques, especially how he's been improving this year. I didn't expect them from him.
Come into the division Tier 1. Obviously, you've driven with many of the racers before. You've been in the division before. How are you feeling, of course, coming into the division as a full-time driver? Are you confident that you can do a good job at Haas? Do you think you could even... We're only coming into the 7th round. Are you looking to take some podiums in the future?
Oh, definitely. This game, I'm really dedicated to this game. It's been a bit better than 2020, but not for the desync issues. But I think I can get a rhythm going on the podiums, maybe, hopefully.
Definitely showed some good driving today as well, and we've seen you before in the MRL, and I'm sure we'll see you next week doing the same thing you always do, and that's drive fast. Do you have any messages for the stream before we wrap things up?
Just thanks for all of your support, and huge congrats for Vexit and his amazing drive.
Thank you, Matteo. And again, we'll have to see how things land with the stewards, but it looks like you might just have yourself a podium.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right, take care.
You too.
Alrighty, that was Mateo, ladies and gentlemen. We had 4 interviews today, but we wanted to, of course, talk to Mateo. He's back in the division. He's looking to do some great things, and then with that, you have a serious championship contender potentially coming in Mateo. We'll just have to see how it all unravels and lands. Now, with that, we are finished with our Tier 1 Japanese Grand Prix coverage. We are going to be back next week fresh with another 6 fantastic racing editions for you around the iconic Silverstone. It is round 7, the British Grand Prix for the Misfits Racing League Season 5 racing. And of course, massive shout out to our partners, Fytron Software. We've got some great stuff coming with Fytron. If you haven't checked out Fytron, click the link in the chat today. And, well, they're a fantastic software developer and doing a lot of great stuff for engine builders around the globe. So if you know any engine builders or you know anyone looking for an awesome software developer, Fytron Software is your place to find it. Now, with that, I am going to conclude this evening's stream, and I hope you all enjoyed it. My name is Stryfium here from Canada. If you did, hit that follow button. We have a ton more coming. But until then, we'll have to just see you in the next one.